Thanks for joining us here on the CBN News Channel. I'm Ephraim Graham.
And I'm Heather Sells. A major budget battle in Wisconsin has gotten the attention of the entire nation. State budgets across the country are in desperate straits. But the problem has escalated in Wisconsin, where some lawmakers have fled and thousands of voters have converged on the Capitol. Here's Charlene Israel.
Protesters who took to the streets and to the Capitol steps of Madison, Wisconsin, are upset by the state's budget cuts, something they see as an assault on union rights. On day 3 of the protests, a crowd of 30,000 frustrated state employees swarmed the Wisconsin state capitol.
The drastic measure is what the governor's done.
They're angry at the governor's budget plan, calling for state workers to pay more for pensions and health care while eliminating union bargaining. Republican Governor Scott Walker introduced the bill to help solve what's expected to be Wisconsin's $3.6 billion shortfall over the next 2 years. State Democrats have prevented a Senate vote on the cuts by leaving the state together.
We feel that by delaying the vote for a while, the people of the state will have more opportunity to talk about this issue.
What you're about to do is destroy the fabric of who we are, and I can't figure out why.
The governor called the move a stunt meant to avoid addressing the state's huge deficit.
The people of this state pay us as elected officials to do our job, to represent them. You can't do that if you're hiding out in some other state.
The White House is even weighing in now.
It's easy to sort of paint public employees as faceless bureaucrats, but we're talking about teachers and nurses and policemen and firemen.
But it's not just Wisconsin that's in the red. New York is cutting 6,000 teachers, and New Jersey's Chris Christie also wants to slash state employee benefits. California is trimming cell phones and state cars.
I'm prepared for serious cuts.
Meanwhile, Wisconsin's governor says if the protests disrupt state services, he will be forced to call in the National Guard for help. Charlene Israel, CBN News.
Charlene, thank you. Small business owners are not happy with the Obama administration's policies. A new Zogby poll shows 64% of small business owners are unhappy with how he's handled the economy, and 58% want someone new in the White House. 64% would prefer Congress reduce spending and balance the budget instead of spending more money to try to create jobs. The poll also found 64% believe the federal government has become so large it poses a threat to the rights and freedoms of citizens.
Concern over the size of the federal government led to the rise of the Tea Party and the conservative victory at the polls last year. Minnesota Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann is a rising star in Tea Party ranks. Many hope she'll run for the 2012 Republican presidential nomination. CBN's political correspondent David Brody went to Capitol Hill to pose the question directly to her.
Will Michelle Bachmann run for President of the United States? We're trying to find out. Lots of other folks are trying to find out, but she is a bundle of energy. She moves so fast, it's hard to pin her down, track her down for that matter. But guess what? We tracked her down all right. Yes, we did. Up here on Capitol Hill, we managed to sit down with her one-on-one. Now, the Minnesota Congresswoman is, like I said, one big ball of energy. She never stops. She's always on the go. And while her job is up here on Capitol Hill nowadays, you might find her in places like Iowa, South Carolina, and New Hampshire, all 3 key early primary states. She's clearly thinking of running for president. Here's part of that interview.
I think that the voters in particular in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, in those states, they have a tremendous opportunity, but also a sacred duty, if you will, because they will be choosing our next nominee. And 2012 is a crucial window. Again, we have to get some policy right in 2012, or we could be looking at a vast sea of red ink.
Michelle Bachmann is leader of the House Tea Party caucus up here on Capitol Hill, but in the interview she said she is not queen of the Tea Party. But clearly there is an opening in the 2012 presidential field for a Tea Party candidate, and now we just wait to see if Michelle Bachmann takes the plunge. David Brody, CBN News, here on Capitol Hill.
Palestinian leaders are calling for a vote today on a UN Security Council resolution condemning Israeli settlements. The proposed resolution labels the settlements illegal. The Obama administration proposed alternatives like a statement rejecting the legitimacy of future Israeli settlements. Arab nations rejected all of them. The U.S. can veto the resolution, a move that will anger Arabs. If the U.S. abstains from the vote, it will anger Israel, our strongest ally in the Middle East.
The revolt in Egypt has not only kicked off protests across the region, it has also inspired new threats from Israel's enemies. This week, Iran tried to send warships through the Suez Canal into the Mediterranean for the first time in years. That would have helped Iran solidify control over Syria and Lebanon, Iran's allies in its quest to destroy Israel. And in Lebanon, Hezbollah's leader put his troops on alert, saying the time will come when they will invade Israel.
Joining us now from Jerusalem is CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell. Chris, why would Iran send warships through the Suez, and why did they pull back?
Well, that's a confusing situation right now, Ephraim, because yesterday the report was that they were going through the canal, and then there was a report that said they had withdrawn their application to go through the canal to Egyptian authorities. Today, the latest word we have is that Iran insists that they are going to go through the canal. The reasons for them for going are several. One could be to deflect attention from their own domestic turmoil right now. The other could be to increase their influence in the eastern Mediterranean, as you said, supporting their states, Syria and Lebanon, right there in the Mediterranean. And the other thing might be to add one more layer of instability and uncertainty in the Middle East, and that fits into their theology that chaos will bring back the return of the 12th Imam, the Shiite Messiah.
Chris, Sheikh Nasrallah of Hezbollah issued quite a provocative statement about taking over Galilee. What kind of threat does Hezbollah pose to Israel?
Well, I don't think you're going to see Nasrallah sending tanks and soldiers over the Lebanese border into Israel, but they do have a formidable weapon. Right now, they have maybe 40 or 50,000 rockets and missiles that can target Israel. Back in 2006, on the Second Lebanon War, they just fired 4,000 that basically paralyzed all of northern Israel, where 1 million Israelis either fled the area or were in bomb shelters. So that's their weapon of choice right now against Israel.
As we reported just a few moments ago, the U.S. is in a bind over this UN resolution condemning Israeli settlement construction. How do you think the administration will respond?
Well, I know how a lot of people hope that administration responds. I know Congresswoman Ilania Ross-Layton says it's almost unthinkable that the U.S. would be an ally of Israel, would be even considering not using its veto against this resolution. So a lot of people are quite concerned and going to be watching carefully what the Obama administration does. Last night, President Obama spoke with President Abbas, trying to convince him not to have this resolution put before the Security Council, but was unable to do that. Just to give you a little context, Ephraim, they say, the Palestinian Authority says this is a legal settlement and activity. But in 1922, the League of Nations established this as a Jewish homeland. 4,000 years ago, the Lord promised, according to the Bible, this land to Abraham and his descendants.
Good perspective indeed. Quickly turning to Egypt, where a radical Islamic sheikh named Yusuf al-Qaradawi has led prayers in Tahrir Square today. He's been called the father figure of the Muslim Brotherhood. He says suicide attacks are necessary in the war against Israel and called the Holocaust a divine punishment on Jewish people. Chris, what do you make of this new development?
This is a huge development. A lot of people saying this is Egypt's 1979 moment when Khomeini came to Tehran and basically established the Islamic Republic of Iran. So this is a huge development. He's widely popular in the Arab and the Muslim world. He has 60 million viewers on Al Jazeera, and he's the spiritual mentor of the Muslim Brotherhood. And a lot of people are looking at this development as one more sign that the Muslim Brotherhood is expanding its influence, an ominous development for those people who hope democracy will take hold in Egypt rather than as Islamic State led by Sharia law.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris, for your time.
You're welcome.
Next month, Congress will hold hearings on the radicalization of Muslims in the U.S. Some say singling out Muslim communities for investigation is unfair. A recent survey shows most Americans don't share that opinion. Eric Steckelbeck is in Washington.
Most Americans are just fine with Congress investigating Muslim extremism. A new survey shows 56% think it's a good idea, only 29% a bad idea. But there are interesting divisions in the country. Dr. Robert Jones spearheaded the survey.
There really are important partisan divides, religious divides, and also divides on media consumption here.
For instance, 71% of Republicans think the hearings are a good idea, only 45% of Democrats. 70% of white evangelicals, who tend to be conservative, favor the hearings, while just 50% of white mainline Protestants, who tend to be liberal, think they're a good idea. Where people get their news seems to have a very important impact on their feelings toward Muslims.
What we found is really a significant Fox News effect on this particular question.
76% of Fox News fans are also fans of the hearings. Only 45% of those who trust CNN and a piddling 28% of those who frequent public television. But overall, the general public seems conflicted.
Americans are wrestling with both fears, I think, and fairness in how we treat American Muslims in the country.
For instance, 62% say American Muslims are an important part of the country's religious community. But 46% also believe Muslims in the U.S. haven't done enough to oppose Islamic extremism.
One other interesting divide that shows up in the survey is a worry about Islamic Sharia law. Only 22% of the general public believe American Muslims want to establish that harsh Islamic system here in the U.S. as the new law of the land. But break it down and you find 31% of Republicans worry about that, more than double the 15% of Democrats who are concerned. Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, Washington.
Coming up, a look at the most inspiring films from this past year.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
These are the greatest stories ever told. Presented by Academy Award winner Charlton Heston.
Thus saith the Lord of Israel, let my people go.
Join Charlton Heston as he travels the sacred lands of the Bible.
I'm going to take you with me on a journey exploring the stories in the Bible and the ancient land where they happened. This is said to be the very garden. This, the very rock where Jesus prayed for strength.
Now the Bible comes to life like never before. Time Life presents Charlton Heston's The Bible.
And Moses cast the tablets from his hands.
Praised by critics, this landmark TV series is now available on digitally remastered DVDs. You'll be inspired by the greatest stories from the Old and New Testaments, enhanced by historic works of art. Get Charlton Heston Presents the Bible on 4 DVDs for $49.99. Call with your credit card and save $10.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
And that's not all. You'll also get a free bonus DVD that takes you behind the scenes. And if you call in the next 10 minutes, we'll ship for free. That's an additional savings of nearly $7.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever.
Call now to get Charlton Heston's The Bible on 5 DVDs for just $39.99. Call in the next 10 minutes and we'll ship for free.
Now therefore go, and I will be with thee.
Call 1-800-748-5167 to order Charlton Heston Presents the Bible for $39.99 and receive free shipping when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card.
The 19th Annual Faith and Values Awards Gala is tonight in Universal City, California. The most inspiring film and TV show will each take home what is called the Epiphany Prize, and that is worth $100,000. The Epiphany Prizes are given every year to the production that inspired a great increase in man's love or understanding of God. The film nominees for Most Inspiring Movie include The Book of Eli, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, Get Low, Letters to God, The Secret of Kells, To Save a Life, and What If? And joining us now is Dr. Ted Baehr, founder of the Christian Film and Television Commission, which sponsors the Faith and Value Awards. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Baehr.
Oh, it's great to be with you today. Thank you.
You're welcome. What are some of the big film surprises of this past year in your view?
Well, the big surprise is that there was so much more positive faith than we've seen. When we started out, there was only one movie with a positive reference to Jesus. Last year, I thought it had hit the peak. It was 54% of the movies. And this year, it was up to 60%. You even had movies like Secretariat, with music, When Jesus Walks. So you've got some incredible transformations taking place. And tonight, we have some of the top people in Hollywood coming. We've got Diane Lane to give one of the awards. We've got Dean Cain. We've got the head chairman of Fox called and said he wanted to come and present an award. So, and Hallmark, I think, is carrying the program on television.
Dr. Baer, let me interrupt you for a minute. What does it tell you about Hollywood that it is producing so many more movies with a faith theme than when you started these awards 19 years ago?
Well, the awards are a tool that we use to attract, the main people, the people I was just talking about, to come to the event. And then what we do is give them this detailed economic report. The economic report is like doing a CAT scan of the entertainment industry, and it shows what succeeds. So the more Christian faith you put into a movie, the better it does at the box office. Christian faith does better than the opposite. It's done better than the opposite since the beginning of the movie industry. So last year, let's say Christian faith was $63 million on average, and atheism was about $7 million. So Christianity equaled, you can do the numbers 7 times or more the amount of money that you did if you were doing the opposite. And then,
what do those numbers tell you? What do you think is going on with audiences?
Well, the audiences have always been there. That's why you had Ben-Hur, and, that's why even during the 80s, which was probably the low point, you had Driving Miss Daisy and Trip to Bountiful and Tender Mercies. You always had movies of faith and values that were the surprise. They were surprised to everybody else, but not to us. So the surprise now is, like last year was Blind Side, and the surprise this year would be something like True Grit. But both of them feature very strong Christian characters, not equivocal, not, confusing. They're very Christian characters.
All right, and I don't want you to spoil anything for us, but who do you think are the front runners to win tonight?
Well, there are a lot of front runners, but probably the What If is one of the front runners. Chronicles of Narnia. Get Low is another front runner. There's some really great movies, and Book of Eli is another front runner. We've got the top people from all of these different studios coming, so it's quite an incredible event.
All right, Dr. Ted Baer, founder of the Christian Film and Television Commission, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Up next, could we be seeing the dawning of a new age in Washington? See what's causing members of both parties to cross the aisle.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come explore Jerusalem, where Jesus opened blind eyes. Visit the hills of Galilee, where Jesus fed the multitude. Stroll through Capernaum, where Jesus lived and taught and healed. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit www.goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number or visit our website. A free idea kit and DVD will be sent to your home so you can discover all the benefits of owning your own pool. Compared to traditional pools, endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Our precision-engineered pools enable you to swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed and ability. Endless pools are perfect for year-round health and fitness, relaxation, and family fun. Our free idea kit and DVD will show you how easy it is for the whole family to enjoy a pool right in your backyard or home. An endless pool or an endless pool swim spa can become a showplace for your home. Call our toll-free number or visit the website to find out more about endless pools. The free idea kit will show you just how easy it is to be able to swim at home.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come sail the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus calmed a raging storm. Experience Jerusalem, where Jesus restored a paralyzed man. Explore Capernaum, where Jesus spoke a centurion servant into health. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
I have a Christian worldview, and so it shapes the way that I view issues. And I don't apologize for that, and I don't think that people of faith ought to shrink away from being in the public arena.
That's Senator John Thune talking to CBN News about how his Christian faith affects his politics. Well, two other members of Congress are also putting their faith into action.
One is a Republican and the other is a Democrat. And nearly 6 weeks after the deadly Tucson shootings, they're still working to restore civility in politics in America. David Brody has more.
After Tucson, there were moments of silence. Tears on the House floor.
Our hearts are broken, but our spirit is not.
And a bipartisan call for civility, which led to the symbolic gesture of Democrats and Republicans sitting together at the President's State of the Union address.
We want to change the tone and show the public that we can work together.
And it was civil.
What comes of this moment is up to us. What comes of this moment will be determined not by whether we can sit together tonight, but whether we can work together tomorrow. And I believe we must. That's what the people who sent us here expect of us.
A month later, though, there are skeptics.
The tone has been changed as a result of Tucson, at least temporarily, and we don't know how long that will last.
The parties have become more ideological. Remember, there used to be liberal Republicans and there were conservative Democrats from the South. Now the Republican Party is ideologically uniformly conservative, and the Democratic Party is almost uniformly liberal. And when you have that ideological difference, they're going to clash more than they did in the past.
The president promised more cooperation with Republicans. And while they have been meeting together,
We had a very nice lunch with the president and vice president.
The differences are obvious.
I guess the particulars and the details will be where the disagreements may lie.
Remember the battle over health care? Well, it's not over. And the debate over cutting spending, that's not going to be easy either.
The political industry, which is now a real industry in a way that it wasn't 20 years ago, is geared only for combat. It is not geared for compromise, cooperation, or anything else.
Don't tell that to these two congressmen who recently joined me on the Brody File.
We shouldn't buy the world's idea that prayer is the last resort. Well, I guess all we can do is pray about it, but it should be the first resort.
Democrat Mike McIntyre and Republican Randy Forbes lead the Congressional Prayer Caucus. That's helped them develop a close friendship despite their political differences.
Mike and I may disagree on issues, but you would never find a situation where I would say anything bad about Mike, or I don't think him say anything bad about me.
They say prayer could be what other members of Congress need to share in order to come together.
A lot of times someone will engage me and they can talk for 45 minutes. They're so fired up or upset about, or passionate about an idea, and then I'll say, well, would you take 5 minutes to pray about it? And I've never had anybody say no, they wouldn't. Usually they kind of pause a minute like, really? And I say, yeah, I mean, do you know there is a prayer caucus and that we do seek wisdom? And obviously if you're that passionate about helping your country or wanting us to make the right decisions about things, will you join us in prayer about it?
The Prayer Caucus comes together here on Capitol Hill before votes each week, and it's growing. It's standing room only in there, both Republicans and Democrats. Now, prayer may not be the first thing that all of these members of Congress think about, but it's clear that they're doing something right, and it could lead to a model for others in this quest for civility. Mark DeMoss, an influential figure within evangelical circles, says Christians play a vital role.
I think as people that identify ourselves as followers of Christ, we have even a greater responsibility to behave a certain way.
What is the role of Christians that are listening to a conversation like this? Because the vitriol, honestly, it also does come from some conservative, moderate Christians.
You may disagree with them philosophically on an issue, but please remember that God also created them. And, you ultimately hope that their heart and mind, will come to a realization that in their faith, they can deal with this issue. And whether they come to the same conclusion or not, that's ultimately up to them.
You can sometimes disagree with someone without really vilifying that person And we're not perfect in that. I mean, Mike takes a lot of hits from his party. I take hits from my party because of our relationship. But yet we think it's so important that we do that for Congress and hopefully changing that tone, but also for the country.
There you have it, civility in progress, and something for the White House and congressional leadership to think about. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
That's interesting because we as Christians are called to something so much deeper than civility. But
Absolutely.
What's going on in that prayer caucus is fantastic.
Begins with prayer indeed. We will be right back. Stay with us.
Millions of women worldwide love Bare Minerals.
This is smooth, it's nice, and it covers. I like that.
Only Bare Minerals looks like beautiful bare skin, while it covers whatever you want it to. And now you can get our latest kit with our totally new, totally spill-proof Click Lock Go Foundation. For over 75% off retail, our new kit comes with Bare Minerals Foundation in the shade that's just right for you. Warmth for a healthy glow. Mineral Veil, the ultimate finishing touch. And Bare Minerals Flawless Application Brush. Call now and get 3 full-size gifts worth $57.95 free. Purchased separately, you'd spend over $120. Our original Get Started kit was a great deal at 2 payments of $29.99. But now you can get all this for just 1 payment of $29.99. Save over $90 and get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Call 1-800-376-4174. Ask how you can receive this handy compact. Call 1-800-376-4174 now.
It's impossible to close an open can with a pop top. Open cans spill in the fridge. What a mess. And open cans lose their fizz. What a waste. Introducing Bottle Top. It turns your can into a bottle with the snap of a cap. Open metal cans can't travel. What a waste. Bottle Top turns your can into a bottle that's perfectly portable. You can't do this with an open can. Bottle Top lets any soda keep its carbonation. Look, bugs are gross, but Bottle Top protects your drink from insects. When you're done drinking, just pop it off. Rinse under hot water and reuse. Bottle Top keeps drinks from spilling. Now get 6 colored bottle tops for just $10. Call now and get 6 more. Plus, we'll send you the can top popper. Just pay separate shipping and handling. You get 12 amazing bottle tops, plus the can top popper, all for just $10.
Call 1-800-377-9176. But hurry, call now. We're giving away a bonus 6 more bottle tops and the can top popper with today's orders. That's 1-800-377-9176. Call now.
A standout Iowa wrestler has refused to compete against a girl at the state tournament. He says the decision was based on his conscience and his faith.
Joel Northrup, a homeschooled sophomore, defaulted on his match with Cassie Herkelman, saying later in a news release that he doesn't think boys and girls should compete in this sport. His father, a Pentecostal minister, says the family knew ahead of time who Joel would be wrestling against and left the decision up to him.
There's certainly no scriptures that specifically address this, and there's nothing doctrinal and nothing church-based. I just believe this is a principled decision. Joel believes, based on his conscience and his faith, that girls should be treated with dignity and respect. And taking nothing away from those 2 female athletes, but wrestling's a combat sport.
Northrup will be allowed to compete in a consolation round, giving him a chance for a 3rd-place win. And you know how competitive wrestlers are. He must have really felt strongly.
God bless him. God bless him. That is going to do it for this hour of the CBN News Channel. Remember, you can find more on today's top headlines, along with our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
And you can also stay up to date with CBN News through Facebook and Twitter. We hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.
Fresh, wholesome juice. There's nothing like it. But until now, you had to stress and strain and make a huge mess to get just a little bit of juice. But not anymore, thanks to the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer. You can drop in whole vegetables, whole fruits, apples, oranges, celery, cucumbers with no chopping, no slicing, no struggling. And thanks to the Power Juicer's revolutionary patented extraction technology, you can get up to 30% more juice than those other juicers. Doctors recommend we get 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. With the Power Juicer, you'll be drinking your recommended daily allowance in in just seconds. And the pulp from the extra large pulp catcher can be used to make pasta sauces, healthy desserts, and much more. The Power Juicer is dishwasher safe, so cleanup's a breeze, and the powerful motor is guaranteed for life. Order the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer now for just 2 easy payments of $49.90. And as part of this special TV offer, we'll also send you this amazing recipe guide filled with over 60 of Jack's favorite recipes. Try the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer in your home risk-free for 30 days. If you're not completely satisfied, send it back for a full refund of the purchase price, no questions asked. Call now.
I was always on the cusp of exploding. So I figured out if I get rid of the wife and the kids, then I can just send them money. Went to the junk drawer, I got the Bible out, put the tape in, and I believe that moment, Christ made sense. There is no earthly reason why we're still married. It is a divine intervention, and I thank God, and showing me what love, grace, and forgiveness looks like.